Well, hey, everybody, getting ready for tonight's show in about 8 minutes. Things are kind of messy. Do, 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 do. Howdy, Rob. And howdy, Marshall. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Let's let everybody kind of get in. So, what's everybody up to tonight? We're going to start the show in about 5 minutes. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. What's up, Jessica? I bet it's nice up in New Hampshire tonight. All right, we're starting in just a second. Oh my gosh, the Dream is such a good ship. I love the Dream and the Fantasy. 168 days. So what's that, about a half a year? So what? It's October, April, late March. Sorry, my wife just trimmed the grass and now I got to sneeze because all the stuff got stirred up. Hey, Justin. I've been booking cruises as much as Walt Disney World over the last couple months. Probably more. Oh, Ryan's going on the Dream for the first time. 687, the sports bar in the back of the ship. It's the place to be for all the adult. To watch the games, obviously, and they have a lot of international stuff like cricket going on. But it's just a cool vibe back there. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. River Grove, Laura, what state's that in? Oh, Jessica, it's your first time on the Dream too. Oh gosh, you guys are gonna love it. We think we've done 2 or 3 podcast cruises on the Dream, and I'll be on the Fantasy again in July. We're doing the Eastern Caribbean on that one. I'm super pumped for that. Illinois. Okay, that's what I thought. I just saw and Find My Friends that Paige, my daughter's at Eastern Illinois University tonight. I don't know why. I guess she's recruiting or something. Probably at a tournament. All right, how about we do a podcast? Scott's wrapping up the Maui vacation or his Hawaii vacation. I looked on Find My Friends. He's in the middle of a rainforest. So we have that, but he's on his way home tomorrow. He says he gets home at 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow to Detroit. So I guess he's flying all night. And also, I have something I need your help on for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's only going to be one podcast, but it's going to be a call-in show for Wednesday. It's going to be a live listener question show. So it's going to be like this show, but it's going to be only listener questions. So if you can make it tomorrow afternoon around 5:30 Eastern, actually probably before that, it'll be around 5 o'clock Eastern. If you can join me for about 45 minutes and just give me a few calls, that would be great because Pam's in Florida, Ricky's in Florida, and Scott will just be back. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. So we can talk about that and take calls, and we'll do a live listener question show for Wednesday. Since Pam and Ricky at Walt Disney World, Scott will just be off the plane from Alani. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Got some news and I got a couple fun topics. Okay, that's muted. We're good there. Got the phone number. All right, here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP Open Line for Sunday night, October 22nd, 2023. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. And of course, one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Sunday evening to you, to all the folks who are tuned in live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Glad to have you here as we wrap up yet another October weekend here in the fall. One more to go here in October. Next weekend will be that big weekend before Halloween. But we're going to talk a little Halloween here in just a second as we open up the phone lines and take your calls for the next hour. This is the show where we turn it over to you, our amazing listeners. So you can give us a call at 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. We can take mini trip reports, 10, 15 minutes to talk about your latest Disney adventure. We could talk about the latest Disney news, or I thought tonight we might talk about a couple of fun topics. I was wondering, just thinking about this afternoon, what is the coolest costume you've ever seen down at Walt Disney World during the Halloween season, like at a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, or maybe out at Disneyland and Oogie Boogie Bash, where guests are allowed to dress up? what's the coolest, maybe the most unique, and maybe you've seen this at like a Run Disney race. Sometimes there's great costumes at those too, because it is that Halloween season. So maybe we can get the juices flowing for folks that are looking for costumes for to dress up. Maybe if you're going to a party next weekend, maybe you have a party to go to, or you're going to go out in the neighborhood and trick or treat with your kids and everybody dresses up as a family. So talk about that. And I think that'd be kind of fun and kind of off topic. We don't have to be Disney here. What was the coolest costume you ever had as a kid? It doesn't have to be Disney. I've talked about this on Mike in the Midwest, our Patreon podcast. One time in kindergarten, I was a Kiss singer in kindergarten. I had the little plastic Ben Cooper costume, and my mom painted my face with that star on my eye. So that was a cool costume. When I don't know why I was a Kiss singer. I didn't get to pick. I was 6. My mom picked it, but that was rocking. When I went back, pretty rocking costume. All right, we have our first call tonight at 407-413-9395. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, it's Lily from New Jersey. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Lily. Thanks for calling in. How's the weekend?
It's going pretty well. My Jets are off today, so I don't have to stress about their football game. And otherwise, it's great.
I love that I got a call like this because you brought up football and you mentioned that football can make or break a weekend. And that is the story of my life. But I this weekend, it couldn't have been better for me, right? Because I have 3 teams. I have my high school football team, Francis Howell. I have my 2 college teams, right? I have the Mizzou Tigers, the 16th ranked Mizzou Tigers, and my Alabama Crimson Tide. Nice. All 3 won this weekend. God, I slept good last night. Like I am living and we're on a bye. We're on our bye week next week. So we are 7-1, ranked 16th with a bye coming up. So I get to enjoy this for 2 weeks. Oh my God. I'm like walking on clouds.
That's how I feel.
Yep. It's so good. Oh, I love it. Yeah. So you guys, I mean, just, you can't lose the bye. You know what? Everybody wins the bye week. That's how you got to look at it.
Exactly. And we beat the Eagles last week.
That's right.
We're still riding high on that.
I know. That was a good one. I know. You beat Jalen.
Yep.
Eagles fans Philadelphia fans in general don't take losing, but because I live on social media and it was just, that was fun to read because I'm not a big NFL guys, but that was awesome that was entertaining, I will say. So no, what's going on? What do you got on your mind?
So I actually wanted to call in and just rave because I haven't heard a lot of people talk to you about the DAS system at Disney.
That is okay.
Because
it's awesome because tomorrow's show actually focuses on that. The Trip Report show is going to be a lot about that. But no, go ahead. That's great that we're going to get a little double dose. I love this.
Yeah. So my husband and I actually joined DVC last summer. We have a son who's about to turn 6, who's autistic. We both love Disney. And so we just figured it would be a good opportunity because we knew how great they are about inclusion and access for everybody and all of that. So we brought him down in April and it was just fantastic. Registration was a little tough. I'm sure you're going to hear about that tomorrow. But being able to get him onto the rides, the cast members, the system, everything was amazing. It's kind of spoiled everywhere else for us now.
So I have a nephew who is also autistic and, he's doing really well, like in school and stuff with a lot of support and things like that. And they went to Disneyland for their very first Disney trip. I think he's like 6 at this point, just for a couple of days because, he gets overstimulated very, very quickly, and so you can't stay in a situation very long. And so Disneyland was probably really nice. Like they stayed at Paradise Pier. They kind of just hopped in and out real quick. They were only there for a couple of days. And, I really would love to go to Walt Disney World with them and get to experience it with them. But I mean, even for me, this is you probably know, like I used to be an educator. I taught elementary school for 17 years. So I dealt with many students that were, on the spectrum and, various abilities. And I taught gifted. And I even had students that were twice exceptional, which meant they were on the autism spectrum, but they were also gifted. So they had extremely high IQs, but couldn't really verbalize very well and deal with emotional stuff. And so that was a unique situation because they were smarter than their peers, way smart. And it was just really interesting. But what I'm curious about is when I go to Walt Disney World, I get over, I can, I'm about to say it. I consider myself normal, which I'm about as far from normal as you can get if you ask my wife or anybody that knows me. But I go down there and Walt Disney World for anybody is so overstimulating, right? You got people everywhere, you got smells, sounds, background loops playing. What advice do you have
Absolutely.
for, because I think anybody needs, like, I swear everybody should go back and take a nap at 2 o'clock. I think, like, I can't survive without like letting myself decompress every single day, midday. What have you learned
hmm
about surviving a place like Walt Disney World just with your entire family? Because it is so overstimulating in general.
So I have to say, we stayed at the boardwalk because we live near the Jersey Shore boardwalk, and my son finds it very calming to go
Mm.
walk there. So we booked a stay at the boardwalk, thinking if he can't handle it in any of the parks, at least we know we can go back to the boardwalk. He can look at it, it'll feel familiar. But he ended up loving the parks. And we just sort of followed his lead on what he wanted to do. When he got overwhelmed, we would go back to the hotel room, we would go in the pool, we would just go for a walk. There are a lot of great videos on YouTube of people just walking through the park that we would just leave on the TV leading up to the trip so that he could sort of see how it goes. But it was a lot of just following his lead. And thanks to being able to book DAS passes just through the phone instead of, I think it used to be a little bit more complicated. Now you just do it through the Disney app on your phone. It was just sort of like, hey, in 2 hours, we can go try this ride. And if he's not into it, we'll go do something else. We're going to find quiet spots in the park. And if he gets too overwhelmed, we'll go hang out in those quiet spots. Or we had my mom with us. So grandma and Sam can go hang out in a quiet spot, and mom and dad will go ride the ride, and then we can switch off. Um, just having a lot of flexibility really helps. And being able to have access to the lightning lanes like we were through that system was a huge help, because we even had times where we had a slot for Slinky Dog and we thought he would be way too overwhelmed and wouldn't be able to do it. And then later on in the day, it seemed like he might be able to handle it. And we ran over and the cast members were like, you had it earlier, you missed your window. It's fine. We understand, you can get on there. And I know that's not the case for everybody, and it's a cast member by cast member basis for that kind of thing. But just being flexible and being really open with the cast members there was very beneficial for us.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I kind of preach on here that I wish was more common, not just at Walt Disney World, but kind of worldwide, is like common sense, right? It's just, in education, at Walt Disney World, at the grocery store, just like, let's look at the picture. What's the big picture here? And what's the end goal? Like, let's use a little common sense here.
Absolutely.
The common sense is for accommodation for the guest to have a great experience, and I mean, I know you missed your window at 9:30 a.m., but is it gonna bring Slinky Dog to a screeching halt right now at 1:37 p.m. if, four people hop on? Probably not. And what
Exactly.
you're talking about it right now because of the accommodation that was taken care of for you. And that's just great judgment, I think, by somebody. I mean, unless it's something that's going to be negative to a huge group of people, I love to hear that out of a
Yeah.
cast member, and that they're empowered to hopefully be able to do things like that. Let me ask you something else too. Um,
Sure.
Dining, because dining is very stressful for my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, because sometimes like table service dining, it's just the pace of it is slow, and it just sometimes it's just like not his thing. And a lot of Walt Disney World trips are based around, oh, I got to go have this character meal and got to have this fancy meal. Did you guys do a lot of counter service? What was dining like for your family?
So we're very lucky in that one of the only foods my son will eat are French fries, and he's not picky about the French fries that he will
That's
eat.
really good.
So that was usually pretty easy to find. We did stay in a room. We stayed in a 1 bedroom that had a kitchen. So the first day that we were there, we ordered some groceries that were things we knew he liked. Certain cereals we knew that we could throw in Ziploc bags and bring into the park with us. And they never looked twice if we brought him out at a restaurant and we were sitting and eating our meals and he was eating whatever crackers were familiar to him or cereal or whatever we had pulled out of our bag. there was one instance where we had a pretty big meltdown because we had gone into Hollywood and Vine. We had done a Fantasmic dining package as like the last thing of our trip, and thought they had French fries, and they did not, and we heard it. And my husband went running into the park, found another restaurant with French fries, ran them back in, and they let him come in with food from another restaurant, let us, set it all up, didn't have an issue at all. So that was great. It was, the one stressful moment of the trip.
I'm just curious, where to get French fries from? Did he get them from that, I'm trying to think, the place of the hot dogs or ABC Commissary near there?
I have a feeling he got them from ABC Commissary.
I'm trying to say, where would I go? I'm trying to think.
Days. Yes, a couple days before, I was like, we need to eat buffalo chicken grilled cheese. So he knew that there were French fries there.
See, I'd have mobile ordered French fries, and I'd have been like, I'm adding on a grilled cheese. I was thinking that maybe in for later. No, this is good to hear, because really the system, the goal of it is that everybody can have a good experience at Walt Disney World. And I think, because I worked in education, and I've seen this from kind of both sides, right? As a teacher, I was always trying to accommodate my students so that they could succeed, and give them what they needed. And I was always talking with my students, right? Because with sixth graders, they're starting to become, young adults, and they can kind of see, second graders, you can kind of pull the wool over their eyes, but sixth graders can see through things. So we'd always have the conversation of, everything is not always going to appear equal in my classroom, but I'm going to accommodate everybody so that everybody has a path to success. So if you see something that looks like, oh, well, somebody's not doing, 30 spelling. I don't even know if they do spelling words anymore. This is how old I am, but we used to do spelling words. I know they don't do spelling words anymore, because I know my wife hasn't done spelling words in forever, but God, I'm a dinosaur. But I'd be like, well, if you're doing 25 spelling words and somebody sitting next to you is doing 12, it's not your job to question that. You know what? We're all here on our own path so that we can succeed. It's accommodation. Yeah. And, I love to hear that it worked out well for you, because too many times, we just live in this society where everybody wants to just jump on people, social media and so forth. And it's like, God, if everybody would just let everybody kind of live and let live, and let everybody succeed, and applaud for everybody's happiness, that'd be so good. I'm glad to hear this.
Yeah. And they do, the registration process is a little bit difficult. I think it might have changed since April when we went, but it was a couple of hours waiting for a quick video call. But on the video call, they don't want to know any diagnosis, but they need to know the reason why you think the pass would be beneficial for your trip. So I know there's a lot of worry online about people, abusing the system or taking advantage, but they do ask a lot of questions to make sure that it's something that will actually positively impact your trip, which was great.
That's awesome. Let me ask you one more. I appreciate this call so much, because I think what it'll do is it's going to open up the eyes, because a lot of people hear this, and there's somebody out there that's, one, probably not even aware of the DAS system. Two, don't even know that you do a video call and speak with somebody and schedule things. And three, realize that this is something that could help them have a better Disney vacation. And at the end, that's the goal. Everybody spends enough money on these vacations. They're super expensive. And I want everybody not only to have a great day every day they're down there, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, however long you go. But I want every hour to hopefully be great. I don't want you to miss an opportunity to make a memory with your family. I'm glad that you're,
totally.
Let me ask you one last question. What was one special memory from this trip? Is there something that really stands out?
All right. Are you ready for this one? This is the best. We went down because it was a combination of spring break, my birthday, and springtime surprise. So we ran the races. I got to embarrass my husband on the big screen before the 5K.
Nice.
And then that night we did the dessert party in front of the castle, and my son lost his first tooth during Happily Ever After. So that was maybe as good as it gets.
He lost it during the fireworks. I'm not going to ask how. It just magically fell out. It wasn't like some traumatic event. Usually it seems like
he was eating a cookie. He looked at me and I said, "Oh my goodness, your tooth is gone."
See, In my case, it'd be like the kid fell down, hit the curb. That's how the tooth came.
No,
Everybody was
no.
crying
This
during
was
the
just like
fireworks. Yeah, that's
it's my
peaceful.
birthday. I ran a 5K through Epcot with my husband. We're eating dessert, watching Happily Ever After, and his tooth pops out.
Well, hey, man, that is a good 24 hours right there. So now,
Yeah,
did you?
and I wanted to tell you one more exciting thing.
No, go ahead. This is what we're here
That
for.
in 2 weeks, I'm going to run the New York City Marathon, and the week after, we're going down for a 1-day trip for a Christmas party.
Oh,
Just my husband and I.
so first of all, I tried to get in the New York City Marathon once because I've never been up east. I've never been up that way, like in the
Okay.
Northeast. Like when I was a little kid, we drove one day to Philadelphia to deliver some dogs for my dad's friend who pitched for the Phillies. So we took his 2 poodles. We drove his van from spring training up to Philadelphia and dropped. I think he lived in New Jersey actually, but we went to the Phillies home
Okay.
opener and dropped his 2 poodles off. So that's as far as I've been up that way, but I was only in 5th grade. But I've never been that way, but I tried to get in the New York Marathon because I thought that'd be a cool way to see New York City run the marathon, but I didn't get in. So yeah,
Yep.
and now I think I'm done with marathons. I don't think I can do 26 miles anymore. So good luck with that.
No,
Oh my
no.
gosh. And that one starts on a
Thank
big,
you.
because
Yeah.
I studied that one. That one starts with a big uphill, like the first couple miles, right? On a bridge.
There's a lot of bridges, and the first one is the biggest one. But I ended up getting in through a charity that helps exactly what we've been talking about for the last 15 minutes, which is inclusion. It's called Culture City. So I raised about $5,500 for them.
That's awesome.
Running the charity on their team, and then a couple days later, we're gonna head down to Florida, stop at a wedding for a day, and then go to Disney for a night.
Oh man. Well, God bless you for raising that charity and helping so many folks, and enjoy those 26 miles through all the boroughs. I guess they're called up there. I don't know.
Yes, they are. Thanks so much.
I watch Blue Bloods. That's as much as I know about New York City. Seriously, I'm as Missouri as they come. I would just be, if I go to New York City, I'd just get a neck cramp because I'd just be looking up. That's how I'm in Chicago. I'm just like, these buildings are huge.
Oh yeah.
It's wild. Well, hey, I appreciate the call,
Absolutely.
and don't be a stranger. It's so good to talk to you. I hope to talk to you again on. One more question I was going to ask everybody. Do you guys celebrate Halloween like when you were a kid or anything?
We do.
Okay, so best Halloween costume for when you were a kid growing up. What was your best one? I had to dress up like a Kiss singer.
My mom would always make me costumes, so she made me a yellow crayon one year. She made me a flower, but the best was she would take clear garbage bags and just pull all the leaves from outside that were off the trees, shove them inside, and make a big paper tag, and you could be a tea bag.
That's awesome. Except that would have killed me because I'm allergic to like those leaves. I have like an allergy. Like when you said that, you'd have just put me in the emergency room. Like I'd have been dead.
Oh, no.
I can't even
But
rake
to me,
leaves.
it's the best cheap costume.
Oh yeah. I thought you were going to say, because I think one year, was it my sister? Somebody like had a big clear trash bag and like just filled it up with purple balloons and like went like I think their friends like all had balloons and went like as the Fruit of the Loom people. See, again, that dates me because I used to be on commercials and I'm old as dirt. God, I'm so old because the Fruit of the Loom people. And so there you go. They're like the underwear people. Anyway, that was awesome. Well, hey, thanks for the call and hope you have a great week and really appreciate talking to you tonight. Thanks again for the support.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye. All righty. 407-413-9395. What a great first call there. And we want to hear about what your best costume was from childhood. That was fun. We had a tea bag. How about that? A homemade tea bag, a bag full of leaves. I can't breathe just thinking about that because I can't go outside right now this time of year because I have asthma. And like this time of year when the leaves start falling and then it rains and the leaves get a little moldy, it's like death to me. I cannot take that stuff. So yeah, that would not be a good costume for me, but I want to hear yours. So again, give me a call at 407-413-9395. Like I said, tomorrow's show is going to be it's an adult who used the DAS system on his trip and also used Genie Plus, and he merged them together and really got tons done, but he qualified for the DAS system and used it legitimately with Genie Plus as well. So we're going to have that conversation on Monday's podcast. Also, don't forget, this is only for the folks who are not listening on the replay that are listening live. Tomorrow, Monday, that'll be October 23rd. I'm only recording one show for Wednesday. It's the listener question show for this coming week. If you could join me at 5 o'clock Eastern, it's going to be a live listener question call-in show. So I need your help because I need you to help me co-host it so that we can have some questions, since Pam and Ricky and Scott are going to all be unavailable, I think. All right, we have a question here in the live chat, and it's from Luke. So let's just jump on that. He says, sorry if you already talked about this. My wife's running the Wine and Dine half. The guide came out, and spectator viewing is only at the start line. We've only done marathon weekend and know there is cheering on Main Street and is so fun. Is cheering on Main Street only for certain weekends? Thanks for your help. Yeah, that is the case. There is not always cheering on Main Street, and I did not look at the spectator guide because I'm not running Wine and Dine, but I can pull that up. And let me see if I can get it real quick. So again, let's talk Disney. Give me a call while I'm pulling this up here. See if I can Google it real quick. Wine and Dine 2023 spectator guide. But I don't believe I don't know. Let's see. If anybody has this pulled up, you could call in and give us a yell on that too. Spectator information. Where's the course? What I need is the course. It's definitely sold out. We all know that. The Run Disney website is not ideal either to find stuff. Pick up. I can never find the courses on the Run Disney website either. So I can find that. Virtual queues, awards. We don't need awards. I'm not winning anything. Jimmy Jones. Let's see if we can get Jimmy in here, because I think he's down at Walt Disney World. Hey, is this Jimmy?
Hey, Mike.
I believe you're at Walt Disney World, if I'm not mistaken. What's going on?
That is correct. Yeah, we're calling from Epcot tonight.
Are you seeing Billy Ocean this evening?
Well, we hadn't made it over there yet, but we might do that. We just rode Ratatouille, and we're getting ready to get something to eat and then watch Epcot forever.
Oh my gosh, you're living a good weekend. Now that you guys survived Houston yesterday. Close call there.
Right.
Wasn't that a little bit too close for comfort?
It was too close for comfort, but we're hoping for an Astros victory tonight.
That's right. You can count on Jose Altuve. I think he's your guy.
I think so.
And you sent me a picture the other day, and I was not going to send all the Albert Pujols shots back at you. I was like, I had restraint. Yeah. I just I said I'm gonna be a nice guy and not send those. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I cracked up on that. So no, how's it been down there? I've been enjoying all the updates and the pictures. How's the weather? How are the crowds? How's everything going?
The weather's been great. A little hot in the afternoon, but and the crowd, man, it's packed. So the crowds are big, but the weather's been really nice, and we're having a great time.
So you're a former teacher as well. So I got to ask you this: is the whole world now off in October? Like my daughter, so Mallory, she was off all last week and is still off tomorrow because tomorrow's a professional development day for the teachers. So the teachers were off all last week for fall break, but they come back tomorrow with a PD day. So she'll be off 6 school days in a row. And I think that's why the crowds are so big, because all these school districts get these huge fall breaks.
Well, I made that same comment to my wife yesterday. Why aren't these people working? Why aren't they in school? They're all here.
That's what I say. Like, I don't know. With me, it's more work to go down there. Like, I love going to Walt Disney World, but when I do, somebody else has to work for me. And when I get home, I got to work twice as hard. So I love being there, but then I work hard when I get home. Yeah, so it's one of those things. So,
yeah, I hear you.
So
anyways, we just wanted to call in from the parks. I know you like that.
I appreciate that so much. What are you thinking for dinner? Regal Eagle, or are you going fancier? What are you doing?
Well, we talked about going to the Japan Pavilion, and we know you like
Oh,
to eat there.
that's a good call, especially when it's crowded, because you can kind of get away from the crowds up there.
Yeah, and we might do a little bit more of the food and wine booth. So not sure yet.
Can't go wrong. You're living the life, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Tell Rhonda we said hello too.
I will do so.
All right, have a good one. Thanks for calling in, Jimmy. You made my night. Hook 'em.
All right.
See ya. All right, see you later, buddy. Bye. All right, that's Jimmy, one of our great agents over at the Magic for Less, checking in from Epcot, where Billy Ocean is in concert tonight at the American Gardens Pavilion. Caribbean Queen. He sings that, right? Get out of my dreams, get into my car. Oh man, living the life. Former school teacher and still teaches a lot of band and stuff around. Oh, I forgot to ask him what his best costume was. I bet he had a good one. All right, 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Survivor Vibe says, loves Billy Ocean. You get down there tonight, man. Epcot, Billy Ocean headlining. Forgive the Eat to the Beat concert series tonight. Mindy says, I loved when my sons dressed up like Mike and Sully from Monsters, Inc. Also, the time that our daughter dressed up like Minnie Mouse was pretty cute. Yeah, Mallory one time was Sully, and it was super cute. She had like little leg warmers that were blue, and she had some kind of like a onesie thing that would look like Sully. It was a really cute year. And when she was super little, I think we had this conversation with Ricky on the podcast the other day, that every like little baby needs to be Minnie Mouse when they're like 1 or 2. When they're like too little to get around, where you can just plop the ears on them, put the little suit, little costume on them that's got the polka dots. Pretty simple. I'll have to find that picture too, because I have a picture of Mallory when she was real little with the Minnie Mouse. She was also Snow White, and it might have been her first year. It might have been she was 1. Because Mallory was because she was born in January and she was pretty big. So I'll look. It's fun to look back and see what your kids were. But I bet you most of our listeners' kids were Disney related kids. So we'll have to check it out. Oh, Mindy's going for the picture. She says Annabelle's second birthday was a Minnie Mouse theme. You see, I bet you most of our kids were Mickey or Minnie. And I bet you too, here's another assumption that I have for our audience. When I looked back at now again, I am going to be 50 this year. So think about how long this hypothesis may span. I looked back at my pictures from when I was little, and these, again, not digital pictures. Again, these are from the 70s. They're those little, and they're square pictures, right? They're not even the rectangle pictures from like the 80s and 90s that are on 35 millimeter film. I don't even know what kind of film this was, but they're like square pictures, and they got that kind of sepia look to them. One of my birthdays was a Mickey Mouse theme. And like my mom made this cake, and it was homemade. But I guess it was like a kit or something. And it had like little sugar, like things you put on top of the icing of the cake. And it was like a kit, but it was Mickey Mouse. And you could see on the table that all the napkins and paper plates, and there were hats, party hats and stuff for all my friends. Everything was Mickey Mouse. And it was so cool. It was from the 70s. I wish I could have all that stuff again, because obviously Mickey Mouse's look has changed over the decades. And it was that older look. It was that retro now look. And it was just, it's so funny because I had no idea that when I'm, 49, I would be doing a Disney podcast, and this is how I'd be making my living. When I don't even know how old I was at that party, 4, 5. It's so funny though, how life goes, because there were, obviously I had a Mickey Mouse party and moved on with my life, and for years and years didn't think much of Disney, and then kind of came back around to it in my adult life. But it is kind of interesting how that stuff happens. All right, 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. I would love to get your mini trip reports or get your thought on the Disney news of the week. We learned also this week that Disney's Blizzard Beach water park is going to reopen, I believe, November 6th, which means Typhoon Lagoon closing on that date. Remember the days when we could have 2 water parks to go to at the same time? And we used to always have the debate, which one do you like better? Which water park are you going to go to on your Disney vacation? You going to go to Typhoon Lagoon? You're going to go to Blizzard Beach? We've had that discussion on this podcast for years and years, but now you don't have to worry about it because Disney doesn't usually give us a choice. They just let you know this is the one that's open. So if you want to go to a water park, here's what you get. And so Blizzard Beach is going to be the new choice here through the holiday season, it looks like. And Typhoon Lagoon is going to go down for refurbishment. It seems like these parks need a lot of refurbishment, these water parks. And I know they have a lot of wear and tear with the water stuff, but yeah, that's it. That Ohio guy says his daughter dressed up as a strawberry for Halloween one year. That's a cute costume, just a strawberry. I thought you were going to say strawberry shortcake because, again, I think my sister was strawberry shortcake one year. Again, showing my age, strawberry shortcake was a thing when we were younger, like a big thing. And actually, one year, my wife made Mallory. Again, Mallory's only 16 or 15. She's not 16 yet. She's 15. But Pam, my wife, made Mallory be Raggedy Ann. And she had no idea who that was. This is for like a daycare thing, a daycare party. And she was adorable. She had no idea who that was. Pam just liked that character from her childhood and dressed her up as it. Let's see what other news do we have. There's a couple things. But again, give me a call. I don't want to sit here and talk to myself. Russell's kind of called this one a little bit shorter at 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Oh, Deluxe Burger has a new burger if you're going to be over at Disney Springs. I love Deluxe Burger for their sauces, for their fries, and their burgers are pretty awesome too. I wouldn't mind being there tonight. But they have a beef Wellington burger. I don't even know what that means, but that sounds awful fancy. So you might want to check that out over at Deluxe Burger at Disney Springs. That's one of my favorite places to eat. Trying to see what else we got here. We had all those price hikes last week. Member Maker went up in price. The annual passes went up in price. Magic Your Way tickets increased. I mean, that's kind of par for the course. It happens every year. So we had that. I saw that there's going to be also they're going to have a sale on Shop Disney for folks that are annual pass holders. So that's coming up here shortly, where if you have an annual pass, you're going to be able to get a discount. I think it's up to 25% on a bunch of stuff on Shop Disney. So watch for the details online for that as well. Trying to see if there's anything else. Ooh, we have a call. Thank you for saving me as I dig deep for the news. Hey, who's joining us? Thanks for calling in.
Have a call. Thank you for saving
Hello?
me.
Hey, who's joining us?
Hi, this is Mindy
Hey,
from
Mindy.
Ohio.
Hey, what's going on, Mindy?
Sorry, I got the volume up on TV, and so the time is like not matching up.
You got to
It's
turn.
like I'm hearing like you 10 seconds behind, so I need to not hear that.
Yeah,
Throw me off a
it's
little
like
bit.
the old radio days. Turn down the radio.
Yeah.
I like
I
saying
was
that.
just gonna call and talk about a couple Halloween costumes from when my kids were little, and just like, or like even just birthday parties.
God
Like,
bless
we always
you.
do Disney stuff.
God bless you for bailing me out. I'm sitting here talking to myself, tap dancing, and that's hard. So and I hope the family's doing.
Okay.
You guys look like you are so busy with all the sports. So I hope everything's going well. I love seeing all that.
Busy this weekend, like busy beyond busy.
Because we're not that busy, but we were like 5 years ago when Paige was still younger. Oh my God, that was our life. So I love seeing it because that was we go from tap because Mallory or Paige was in select soccer. She was in she did dance for a while. She was in softball. She was in cross country. She did we were going from one thing to the next every night. It was yeah. So you're living the life we used to live, and I like seeing it. I'm just glad I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah. we're gonna be in a transition phase where we're not as busy, but cross country was definitely really good time for the weekend.
Yep.
But we're not done with it yet because Annabelle's gonna do nationals, so she's got a month to train for that, and then we'll be moving into basketball.
Well, tell her that she's got the BOGP behind her. We are cheering her on. Proud of her.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So give us a scoop on those costumes.
Oh yeah.
So one of the times we had, it was the cutest thing. Our son dressed up as Woody, and he was like really skinny and tall. So that was like one of the really cute costumes. And then another time, I remember my mother-in-law, I threw like a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse birthday party, and that was when I had a little more energy. So we had like all these themed cupcakes, and then she made like a little Mickey Mouse Clubhouse thing to take pictures in, and it was just the cutest thing ever. I just love they're older now, so they don't want to do Disney themed birthday parties anymore,
Right.
but oh, I loved it when they did that.
Did you have, what was the thing that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, the thing that would come out and make things
Oh,
happen? What was that? God, because we used to watch it again. It was on 24/7 in
oh
our
yeah.
house when Mallory was little. What was the thing? He floated around.
Oh, we watched it all the time. We had the Mousecatools,
The
or what was that thing
Mousecatool,
called?
yeah,
I
the
don't
Miska
remember.
Muska,
Something like
the something
that.
Mickey Mouse thing. Yeah, yeah,
It was cute. It was so cute. Oh my gosh, I miss it.
yeah.
So
I kind
yeah,
of
we did
don't.
like the whole thing. We did the Disney villains birthday party, all that stuff.
Yes.
So
Okay. Speaking of, we should have a whole show on this too. We used to, when Paige was, God, she must have been like in middle school or something. I don't know. It was when all the Camp Rock movies came out. Remember those on Disney Channel with like the Jonas Brothers
yes.
and
Well,
Teen
see,
Beach
I
Movie
didn't probably
too?
watch them when they were in the time that they were like, just came out. But my daughter is 9 now, so like a couple years ago, she was getting into them. So
Okay.
sometimes she'll get into some of that stuff that was probably popular way back then.
So Paige was like right at the perfect age for like High School Musical, and then like whatever I just said, the one with Jonas Brothers, Camp Rock or whatever that
Camp
was.
Rock.
And then kind of Teen Beach Movie was Mallory. But back when High School Musical and Camp Rock came out, so we had these parties at our old house when they would premiere on Disney Channel. And in my
fun.
classroom, I didn't have like this was before like every classroom now has like the smart boards, but I had
Yeah.
I had an LCD projector that I could hook up to my laptop for my classroom. So I'd bring my
cool.
LCD projector home and we'd take it into the backyard, and we had a white house like with white siding. So we would just take it onto our deck and project it up onto our like the back of our house, and like we made cupcakes that were all themed. We had the whole neighborhood over. We'd have a fire pit, and we'd premiere all these movies like on our back deck, like big as anything, like a drive-in on this LCD projector. And like we used to do that with all those Disney Channel shows. That was so fun. We have pictures and everything. Yeah, that was good times.
So much fun.
Oh, good stuff.
Hey, I have one other question.
Go ahead.
My friend was asking me if it's worth it to switch from an interior room to a veranda on a Disney cruise.
I mean, it just depends if you're going to use it. Yeah. And it's not that much more. I mean, I always say with Disney Cruise Line, 95% of the cost is just getting on the boat. It's not that much more to upgrade stateroom categories. It's expensive. I mean, the expense is getting on the ship. Like they get you there. You're not going to pay that much more to go from inside to ocean view to veranda. Honestly, it's just it's the initial getting on the ship.
I'll definitely let her know. Thank you.
But I mean, if you're not going to use it, I'm frugal. So if you're somebody who's like, I'm never going to go out there because I'm scared of water, don't get it. But to me, the veranda, even if you don't use it a lot, makes the entire stateroom feel bigger. Just because like you have, when you're in your stateroom, if you have the curtains pulled, it just looks bigger too. Like it just feels like it gives an airy feel with all the light. I mean, it does feel a lot more luxurious to have a veranda too, even if you're not gonna be out there a lot, but don't pay for something you're not going to enjoy, but it's not that much more expensive. Yeah. That's
we did
the
ocean view with the big window, and I really like that. Our son was like, I don't want that veranda, that scares me. So we were like, okay, no problem. But we definitely liked having that big window.
Yeah, the window's nice with a big cushion where you can kind of like the kids can like lay down and like little smaller kids can like take a nap in there. Like it's cool. Yeah, we've had that too. Yeah, we like cool. We do like that too. That's not a bad idea either. Yeah, that's a good compromise because you get a lot of light through that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. Disney did a good job with those large portholes. those things are sweet because it's basically like a bay window, with a chair. Yeah, I like
definitely.
That. Yep, those are cool.
All right.
All right. So, what you guys, Ohio State fans, I guess I take it out there, right?
Yes, we are.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
we're Ohio State.
you had a big one yesterday. Took care of Penn State.
Yes. Ooh, yeah.
Good stuff.
That was a good one.
All right. Well, tell the family we said hello. And again, good luck at all
I
the
will.
sporting endeavors throughout the fall. And don't be a stranger. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All
Thank you.
right. See you later, Mindy. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. 407-413-9395. I thought I saw a call trying to sneak in here from Nebraska. So if that person wants to jump in, love to talk to them. So maybe not. We'll see if they can get in here. But yeah, it's one of those things too, like Mindy was saying. I think a lot of our audience grows up with their kids having Disney costumes and Disney parties, and then all of a sudden your kids are too old and that all goes away. And it is kind of sad when you get on the other side of it. And see, with Ricky, she's just starting all this. But I wonder how things have changed, because Disney maybe I'm just because I'm older, right? And it's like I'm at a different point of life. Is Disney Channel as present in culture as it was in the early 2000s, mid 2000s? I don't know. It seemed like it was more mainstream. Now with streaming and Disney Plus, everything seems more segmented and people aren't doing everything at the same time. Like to have this High School Musical premiere viewing party, everybody was watching that thing on the same night at the same time. And Disney Channel promoted that thing for months and months. This thing is going to premiere on June 1st at 7:00 Central. And so like the kids anticipated it all towards the end of school. And we planned out the party in our backyard, and the kids, Paige and all of her friends on the street, we decided like, okay, what kind of snacks do you want? Okay. You want cupcakes. Well, okay. So we're going to have like little diplomas, on top of the cupcakes, cause it's High School Musical. Or, we had all this stuff and it was a big deal. And we got, all the s'mores and all that, we made a fire pit, and it was a big deal because everybody was doing everything at the same time. With streaming, I think you kind of lose some of that energy because you can watch it on demand. You can watch it whenever you want, which is super convenient, but there's not that shared, we're going to all watch this right now at the same time. I know things drop, like they'll say, okay, this is going to drop at, midnight on June 1st. The whole season's going to drop. You can binge that. I don't know, because I'm not a big TV viewer, but back then it seemed like it was a big deal. All right. We have my friend Wade from Nebraska joining us. Wade, hey, happy Sunday. How's it going?
Hey, good, Mike. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, but not as good as our friend Scotty G.
Yeah, he's been having the week that I can't say much. I was there a few weeks ago, but he's been having the week of like, let me peek at Instagram and see what Scotty G's up to again. There he is again on the beach. There he is again eating something. There he is having a drink.
I just looked at him on Find My Friends. He's like in the middle of a rainforest right now. Looks like on top of a mountain. So he's out exploring, I guess. I don't know.
maybe he's not. Maybe he's not coming back. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe he's intentionally just getting lost so he cannot come home. That's what I was thinking. So more power to him. We may be down to 3 again on the show. I don't know.
You can just live the aloha life. So yeah, good for him. I don't blame him.
I saw a picture. He had like a tattoo sleeve. I'm like, dude, I don't know if that's real or not, but maybe he's staying. Who knows?
That's right.
So what's up?
I got his warrior tattoo.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just calling. I was thinking, I heard somebody mention something about wine and dine and spectating. And as you know, I'm going to be down there in 2 weeks from today is the half marathon. So, I was reading through and maybe I've just never read the guide as closely, but it is interesting the way they word some things in the, what do they call it? The virtual expo guide. And it did say spectator viewing in the rocket lot at start line only. And I think they mean, obviously just if you want to watch your runner start, you have to be in that lot. You can't go anywhere else around Epcot to watch the start because you immediately, make that right turn and go backstage.
Yep.
So I think that's maybe what that meant. I heard somebody mention that, or I heard you mention that. But then there's, a lot of viewing along the way. although the back half is pretty much open roads until you enter Epcot at the bus loops, which is always a good place to watch, watch runners come in too.
So
there's usually a lot of space there.
I haven't done this one in quite a while. This one does not go through the Magic Kingdom, this half marathon course?
No.
Okay.
No, you start, and somebody said it was like Springtime Surprise, perhaps, and I've never run Springtime Surprise the last couple of years. But you start Epcot lot, and you immediately go backstage and around World Showcase. Enter, where is that? Somewhere around Mexico,
Yep.
Where you enter and then make a left turn and loop around there, and then you go by, the boardwalk, and then you take a left turn, go towards Hollywood Studios, run through Hollywood Studios. It looks like through Galaxy's Edge that way, and then you exit, and then you're out and about the roads by some of the resorts and ESPN, and come back around, and then enter Epcot near the bus loop where the buses enter. And then you go in, make a brief appearance in Epcot around, I don't know, is it still a dirt pit?
Yeah.
Whatever's there.
I don't think it's as bad anymore. Yeah. I think it's better.
No, maybe a wall or two, but hopefully not. I know the Moana is open, but whatever, you make a turn there and come back around, and where the choir typically is, and come back around by Guardians, and then finish there. Of course, there's a lot of spectator viewing at the finish too. So
yeah, I think you said
it's not a bad course.
A good spot to view, I think, was what you just said, is that bus area at Epcot for that course, because it's towards the end and people are more spread out.
Last year. Yep. I think they did say, Scott and Hugh and Beth were there last year when I was running, and then Shelly and Eric were running as well too. So they were right at that bus stop. Had a lot of room, it was a great spot to view. And then you just peel over through the parking lot to get to the finish line. So it's pretty easy because the runners go into Epcot, for another mile or whatever. But that's a good spot. A lot of people don't go over there. I think it's because you have to go through the parking lot, kind of like you're, exiting Epcot at the end of the night to get over that way.
Yeah, but you could technically watch the start, go over there, watch them basically that's like mile 11, and then probably catch them, then hustle and see the finish, and then meet your runner and go back into, I guess, well, I don't know. That's a morning race. So I guess you go, it's still too early to go into Epcot at that point. Maybe not.
Yeah,
depends when you finish.
I guess it depends on where the runner starts and the pace and all that.
Depends
stuff,
how fast
right?
you are. Yeah, exactly. I guess if you're super fast, it's too early. If you're not, probably want to get a shower.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. Some people don't.
Hey, the great thing is, I've come to love that weekend because it's set the clock back weekend.
That's true. That is true. That used to freak me
it's
out.
only 8.
So when that used to be a night race, that used to mess me up because that was always on that weekend, but it was a night race, right? And so you're getting up at 2:30 right when the clock's changing. That was the stupidest thing. I'm like, oh man, that was because it was literally you were waking up when the clock was changing. I'm like, dude, am I waking up? Like, I don't even, and I'm in a different time zone too. I'm like, if I get on this bus at the right time, it'll be a miracle because I got 8 things working against me. Yeah, that was
always my fear too. Yeah, always my fear when you're changing the clock, right?
Yeah,
the iPhone adjusts, right? Automatically. It's supposed to.
that's a great hack though. You get 1 extra hour on a Run Disney weekend, man. That's a big deal.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Run the 10K on Saturday, and then you jump in bed at 9. You're like, it's only 8.
Yeah,
so it's a good. It's. I kind of like that part about it. But I'm looking forward to the race. I hope the weather cooperates. As always, you never know. It can be hot and humid. Could be rainy. Hopefully it's just a nice, beautiful 60 degrees at 5 a.m. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, because you're like primed right now. I think you could have a really, really good run. But man, it's down there. It's so weather dependent, and that I'm not kidding. Like Wine and Dine has been so iffy on the weather over the past like 5, 6, 7 years. It's probably the worst as far as like inconsistent weather. We'll see.
Probably has been. Last year it was not. It was so humid and it rained probably for 35 or 45 minutes at about 4:30. I think it actually rained. I know my wife and son were a couple corrals back. They said they stood in the rain after we started. But it was just a light rain, but enough to make you wet. And they also let everybody through to get to the start, because out on the roads, they let everybody through the forest, but the trees where it was kind of sloshy and, squishy. So everybody's shoes got wet. it was pretty interesting. But it looks like this year it starts in the parking lot, so you just don't have to go out on the road. You make after the start, you go out on the road, make that right turn. So, but yeah, hopefully the weather's good for everybody, all the lizards running and everybody else. Should be a good time. I'm ready to go. Did my first and only back-to-back run yesterday and today. So that's my back-to-back training was today.
You're set. You're good. You're good. I know. Like I haven't even gotten up to 10 miles yet. So Dopey's going to be a struggle. I'm going to wing it on that Sunday and see what happens. It's going to be a mess.
I hear you. That's why I'm only doing goofy. So I get two days to, I don't have to get up at, 2:30 in the morning. Only 2 mornings for me.
But come on, you could get up like if you're doing goofy. All it is a matter of getting up 2 more days. Come on, it's only 2 more days to get up early.
I'll think about you. I'll think about you guys while I'm
yeah, you will.
Warm in bed. I'll think about
you. Are you going to Disneyland too? You're going out to Disneyland, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I didn't get in. I didn't get in. I got denied on sign up day. So. And then the day that Scott signed up, I was skiing actually, and he was texting me. I didn't see the text till like 30 minutes later. I'm like, "What? You got in? Wait a minute, what?" And then it was closed by then. So there's been a couple times it's popped up, and I've clicked on it, and it instantly says sold out. So I'm like, well, I just resigned that I won't do Disneyland this year anyway. Yeah. I did Avengers a few years ago, so it's fun. I enjoy running there, which I'm glad I'd done that. Had I got shut out and then not run before, I would have been a little more disappointed. But yeah, so just Disney World. So Wine and Dine and Goofy are the 2 for me this year.
Yep. My 2 are just Dopey and Disneyland. That's it. And then I'm trying to like be reasonable. I've been spending too much money on trying to do all the races, and it's the same. I've just done so many of them. I'm trying to be more, and I've never run Disneyland, so that's going to be, I'm super, super excited for that. I wish it wasn't this next weekend though. And that's insane for me because like flying out there, like it's just like I'm just not as young as I used to, like it's just, it takes more of a toll on my body lately. Like my knees just can't take it. Like flying and all that, man, I'll be a mess, but I'm just, this is going to be expensive. So I'm just trying to, like, that was the deal I made with myself. Like it's going to be expensive to go all the way to Disneyland after going to Florida. But I'm giving up Princess and Springtime Surprise to kind of balance it out so that, try to be reasonable with it. And I think it'll be worth it. It'll be a cool experience once. We'll see.
It'll be absolutely. If you've never done it, absolutely be worth it. It is tough timing for me too, just because of work. We're typically very slow the week of Christmas to New Year's. So even getting down to Disney World, it's like come back to work for one day. It's like, hey, I'm out for another 5 days. I couldn't swing it to be, hey, I'm out again for another, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
so
same.
I've got a lot of
it's bad,
travel too. So
it's bad travel. Yeah, travel too. It's terrible for January because that's called wave season for us. And like everybody goes back to work in January and gets their restock of their days off. Everybody starts scheduling vacations in January. So then boom, where am I going? I'm going on, I'm going to be out of the office for like, a week and a half. It's not great, but
it makes it tough. It's interesting that they did it that way because it used to be a September. The Disneyland half used to be like Labor Day, right?
Yeah, so, yes, it did that because it was when those Santa Ana winds come in. Because remember that one time stuff was blowing everywhere. I remember that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. There's a canal. I don't know what the course will be, but yeah, there's a canal you run along, and when the wind blows, it's like, it's a lot of like sand and like, I guess dirt blows, and it was. I had it a little bit during Avengers. The year I ran it a little bit that way too. It's a little different. It's a little different at Disneyland because the parks, they don't have the blessing of size that Disney World has with all the well-maintained roads, right?
Yep.
So you get out in the neighboring communities, which adds a different flavor to it. I'll put it that way.
Which I'm fine with. Wild. I mean, I love Chicago. Chicago was the wildest, like 26 miles I've ever seen. I mean, you saw more culture in that race. I mean, by culture, I mean, you saw everything. Like it was wild. So I'm good. Like, let's do it. A little Disney, a little real life.
You'll see that Anaheim, Santa Ana, the different little, communities, not little, but they're all joined together, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. I'll have FOMO that weekend watching all of your posts for sure. But no, I'm excited for Wine and Dine, excited for Marathon Weekend. It's just, I know that once Wine and Dine over, then I have to figure out, okay, how am I going to train for the next 6-8 weeks till we get down there. But we'll get it done.
Where we live, it's brutal to train for marathon weekend. Like it just gets colder and colder, so it's treadmill or just freeze your rear off.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. So, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a break because my hips and, like you said, hips and knees need it a little bit too.
Oh yeah. Pam's like, we were driving to Mizzou yesterday. She's like, why can't you sit still? And also because our seats are just like, we have bleachers at Mizzou. Like we don't have like backs on our seats or anything like that. And like sold out, right? So everybody's just crammed in there. And some kid came and sat like on our row that didn't have a seat. So like there's people sitting there and so everybody's jammed in there, even more people than it's supposed to be. And she's like, would you sit still? I'm like, I can't do. I got like a sciatica going down my like right hip. I can't. Like, it's like, you need to go to the doctor. I'm like, I need to stop running. What I need to do. Like, I can't. I'm telling you, man, it's a mess. Because you got to drive 2 hours to get to the stadium. Then then you're sitting because God, a college football game lasts 8 hours anymore. It's terrible.
It does. I tell you what, yesterday is a Husker game, and they are redoing our stadium. It's going to be like a $450 million renovation next year, and they're putting chair backs in 3 of the sides. They're knocking one side down, rebuilding it. Finally, they did a survey. What do people want? They want chair backs. Yes. But you rent these like little seats with a chair back.
That's what we can do. Yeah, we never get there soon enough. They're $5, but they're sold out.
Yeah, $5. They're $5 here too. And you sit there and it pushes you forward. It's the worst posture. And these games, I tell you, they're like, oh, running clock after a first down. I'm like, that's great. But somehow all the networks figured out, hey,
more commercials.
Commercials
exactly.
So
it doesn't help.
It will last the exact same amount of time.
I know. It's what I thought. I thought that the first couple games. I'm like, this game I think is longer. Like it's not. We are here just as long. Like I thought we'd be out there quicker. Yeah, right. Whatever. Oh my God. Those
3-minute timeouts. It was not to get on sports, but one time a guy was jogging off, and right near the sideline he fell down, right, to get injury, like whatever. I'm like, no, get to the sideline. I saw the timeout guy come out. 3 minutes goes up on a little clock in the stadium. I'm like, here we go, another 3-minute timeout.
Our season tickets are right by, like we're right behind where the guy stands with the big clock. I'm like, oh, dude, I hate that guy. Like my eyes are always on him. Like I just want to see him like wind it, like keep it going. I'm like, rock on, let's keep this play going. Do not go out. And then somebody will sneeze and he'll go out there with that big stick. I'm like, oh, you stink. Like, 3 minutes of my life.
2 minutes, 2 minutes 50 seconds. That's what the TV timeouts have become. So I'm like, great. Anyway, that's not Disney talk. So
I know.
We can talk sports.
That's what we do on Sunday nights. Anyway, well, hey Wade, you have a good week, and I appreciate it. And real quick though, how messed up Scotty G going to be after that flight home tomorrow?
Oh, is he flying tonight?
He said he's getting home at 8 a.m. tomorrow to Detroit, and he said he'll do a podcast with me tomorrow night. I said I doubt you're going to want to do a podcast, but whatever.
Yeah, it's terrible. It is. I flew for many years. I've flown United only had overnight flights, right, to get back here. Southwest started flying to Hawaii a couple of years ago, and it's during the day. So you leave Hawaii like at 8 in, you get home, it's 11 at night, but it's really like, 6 in the evening when you get home. So I started doing that the last 4 or 5 times because it's so much easier to get home, and pack a little bit. You go to bed at midnight, 1 a.m., and you wake up the next day. He's going to wake up tomorrow in the clothes that he had dinner in tonight, that's the hard part. And you're trying to sleep on the plane. Yeah. And then he's got a 6-hour time difference. Yeah, it's going to take him a few days.
I can't wait to talk to him.
So he's like the price you pay. That's what I always said. It's the price you pay for being in paradise for a week. So
that's true. If he told me last week, he's like, because Pam and Ricky are both down at Walt Disney World tomorrow, but he's like, dude, if you need me, I'm getting in at 8 a.m. on Monday. I can do a podcast with you Monday afternoon. I'm like, I don't think you're going to be like coherent after flying all that distance, like for that long. After a week in Hawaii, I'm like, I'm probably just going to do a live call-in show or something on Monday afternoon. He's like, I think I can do it. I'm like, I don't know. I appreciate your valor and your dedication. I was like, but I think you're going to be messed up. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot, but we'll see. I'll give him a call.
He's going to be messed up. Yeah, he will be. But again, it's the price. It's the penance.
I've never done it, so I have no idea. So yeah, so I was just guessing. All right, Wade. Hey, it's good to talk to you. Tell the family we said hello. Take care up there.
All right, Mike. Sounds good. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All righty. Well, that is going to put a wraps on another BOGP Open Line. So thanks for all the calls. We had a good time hanging out tonight. I love Sunday nights. We can talk with our listeners and have a good time talking Disney. And, you know, sometimes sports sneaks in there, and I apologize for that. But those are my two passions, Disney and college football. But thank you for spending some time with us. Don't forget, we have our shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays are going to be trip reports, Wednesdays, listener question shows, and Fridays are the roundtable discussions with Pam, Ricky, and Scott. And this week, we've already recorded the Friday show. It's going to be about iPhone photography down at Walt Disney World during the golden hours, basically sunrise and sunset, how to optimize those photos, some settings on your iPhone or camera phone that you have, so that you can really make those pictures pop, and stuff you can do in pre and post times of taking those pictures and in real time to really make your photos look great, and locations around property where you can get some amazing sunrise and sunset photos. So we have a good time talking about that on this coming Friday show. We recorded that before Pam bugged out down to Walt Disney World for her earmarked conference this week. So that's in the can. But again, if you're listening in real time, which got a lot of folks on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch right now, if you have the time and could join me tomorrow, that would be Monday, October 23rd at 5 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to go live. We're going to have the call-in there. We're going to have the live video chat open. I'll be taking your calls live for Wednesday shows. So the questions, I have a few questions in the inbox, but I'd like to take your calls and do something a little bit different, a live call-in listener question show. So have a question that you'd like to ask, and we'll answer those questions live on the air. So it'll just be me and you in the conversations for the question show on Wednesday. All right, don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. I'd love to help you plan a great vacation this week to the Disney destinations. All you need to do is swing by the website over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. Just click through the link there. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our patrons who allow us to put this show out. I love doing the show and couldn't do it without our Patreon support. I mean, we have a lot of shows that we have in our archives, over 2,400 shows. And that does cost quite a bit of money, but it's because of our Patreon support that we can pay the bills. So thank you so much for that. And our patrons get that bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Also, give me a follow on social media at Be Our Guest Mike on Threads and Instagram and Twitter/X. And we'll do this again next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Scott will be back, so you can ask him about all of his Hawaii adventures, Alani, all that stuff. He'll be recovered. We'll have a good time with that. So join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch for that. And yeah, we're gonna have a good time with that. So, one other thing, if you don't mind this week, I would love it if you could give us a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download the show. A 5-star review would be very much appreciated. We've been going for over 15 years, and sometimes those reviews expire after a certain amount of time. And that's how people discover the show. So if you have a few minutes this week, if you could drop a few kind words on the place where you grab the show, I would be very, very appreciative of that. So thank you so much for your support. We're going to get out of here, and we'll be back again on Monday with a great trip report. It's coming your way. So until we talk again, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. See you later, everybody. Have a good night.